Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chick Chatter live from the Media Hub on RightRadio.ca. We are your hosts, Lucia,
Cristina,
and Isabella.
This show is all about a few girls who aren't afraid to chat away. Today we got a very special guest with us,
Kylisha.
from season 6 of Too Hot to Handle.
We're going to be covering a whole bunch of topics, and our amazing guest will be sharing some incredible advice you won't want to miss. So grab your headphones and stay tuned because this episode is about to get real.
That's right.
Woo! First of all, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And
All right.
Yeah.
Starting off, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Toronto, Scarborough specifically, in Ontario, so not too far from here.
Yeah.
Okay. Specifically, what did you go to school for, and like what school did you go to?
So like secondary school, I went to Earl Haig, but I majored in dance. So I was an arts kid. And then I went to OCAD University and I studied advertising.
Okay.
Wow, good for you.
Was there like a certain style of dance, or was it just dance in general?
It was kind of everything. I was like really passionate about becoming a dancer full time
Yeah.
and having it be my career. And then obviously long term, I was like, this is not gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard on your body.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine.
What led you to like pursue a career in entertainment or advertising when you went to school for, and like later on in life in entertainment? What led you to pursue that career?
I think I always knew, like deep down, you know, when you're a little kid and you're like, I just have a little passion. My passion was like, okay, I'm gonna be on TV. I don't know what for. I was like, I don't know what I'll be on TV for. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing, but I know that I'm gonna be like in entertainment somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And I think growing up with like a big dance background and having that under my belt of like the limelight and the musical theater and like just performing, it really like kind of set me up to be like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue dance as my career path and how I wanted to go about that. But then obviously I learned more about it in school doing advertising and the back end marketing and all that stuff. And so if I was in entertainment behind the scenes or in front of it, it didn't matter for me. I just wanted to be around it.
Yeah.
Is there like a specific dance that you like are drawn to, or that you like the most?
I love jazz.
Okay.
Like, I love jazz as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you guys dance?
I used to.
Yeah.
I did
for years,
theater
yeah.
in high school.
Okay, you guys are my people.
Yes. Yeah, I did dance since I was like 3 till I was 12.
Yeah.
But I did jazz and I did tap.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Tap is so fun.
I know.
Tap is fun. And when you don't know what you're doing in the beginning, I was so lost. But
I know.
after you get the hang of it, but
Yeah. Which makes sense.
And how did you like stay in contact with like family and friends while like maintaining your passion for the work and the grind?
I have such a close relationship with my family. It's insane. Like I call my mom every day. We have a family group chat. So for me, it wasn't even losing touch of my family. It was just the fact that I wasn't around them every day that I was like, oh, I miss them. It's a little hug.
Yeah.
But other than that, I feel like I never lost touch. They were always so encouraging, so enthusiastic. They were like, follow your dreams, do
That's
this,
good.
push it. And I think that having them as a really good support network and like a good support system was fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
That's so
good.
good.
So, what other roles are you looking to get into?
I
Do you
don't
know yet?
Yeah, I'm thinking about pursuing more TV related stuff, but I'm also just like, I don't know if I loved being in the camera, in front of the camera when it came to like a dating sense.
Yeah.
It's so personal, and I'm not used to talking about my dating life.
You have
so
to get really
openly.
vulnerable.
Yeah, and then I started making like TikToks before I went on the show.
Yeah.
And I would just say like, oh my God, today I'm going on a date with this guy and this
Yeah.
guy. And it was so fun because I was like on FaceTime with my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had guys on dates text me and be like, I just saw your TikTok. Why are you talking about me? And it was so
Oh no.
it was so
Oh
bad.
my
I started getting
gosh.
called out like 24/7 about
Really?
the stuff that I was saying on
Oh.
TikTok, and then I just had to stop. I was like, okay, guys, this
That's
is
enough of that.
yeah.
I think the nice thing, what it sounds like with TikTok compared to like probably being on the show, is you didn't have to say what you didn't want. And probably on the show, they pushed more for you to say certain things.
I'm like, my lips are sealed because
Yeah. Yeah. You have more control that way with the TikTok.
Yeah.
The TikTok. Oh my gosh.
And I feel like with TikTok, it's so like personal because I get to choose what I'm putting out there.
Yeah.
And when you go on
Yes.
TV,
Yeah.
you can't have any control of what you're
Yeah.
saying
Oh
or
my gosh,
doing or
that's so
how they edit
scary.
you. So even some instances that happened in the show, they didn't even really happen in real life. I know.
They can make you a villain. Oh, could you imagine just like
Yeah.
watching back and be like, why am I the villain?
Oh, I know that they could have made me a really big villain,
Yeah.
but
Really?
they chose not to.
Oh,
That's so
you're
good.
so sweet.
I'm so
Thank goodness.
problematic, so
Oh
I'm
my
like, thank
gosh. No, you're so sweet. That would have been so mean.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it is fun. I think like with TikTok, it's so personal, and you're just sitting with you and your phone, so it doesn't feel like you're putting on like
a show or something. Yeah.
And you're in your own environment as well.
Exactly. Yeah, it makes you feel a lot more comfortable.
And it's your own account, so it's what you want to put out. It's all about you.
And it's like, you put it on my good side.
Literally. When did you get started with TikTok? Like right before the show, or like even like you've had it for years?
I honestly just started getting on TikTok when everyone got on it. You know, right before COVID, when everyone was like making little challenges and like just little dance videos. That's exactly when I went on it.
Yeah.
I was like having so much fun. It was just really personal. And then it started becoming like, oh my God, wait, people are actually watching this. I would get stopped because I used to work bottle service in Toronto. And I would get stopped at the club and people would be like, oh my God, I watch your TikToks. And then I was like, what?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so exciting when like people like will come up to you and be like, oh my God, wait, I know you from this, or oh my God, like you're so good at this. I think it's almost like a reward.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And then right when the show came out, I started getting stopped in like malls and parking lots. And like even down the street, I would get stopped all the time, and it was so weird because I'm like, I'm in my pajamas right now. But,
do you remember the first time you got recognized, like where you were? I
was in New York. I flew out to see our Times Square billboard. That was
That's
insane.
so
I'm like
cool.
saying it as a sentence just is nuts. But I was shopping for something to wear for that day. And I just went out. I was like on the FaceTime with my friend, and I was just on the phone, and someone like tapped on my shoulder like, hi. And they were so nervous. They didn't know what to say. It was just these two girls. And they were like, hi, are you on TV? I was like, that's me. I like gave them the biggest hug. It was so, like, I felt so giddy and warm about it. And we chatted, I kid you not, for 30 minutes straight, just about the show, how much they liked it, what they saw. And it was so
that's
fun.
awesome.
That's so
and then
cool.
from then on, as it kept happening, like, I think it was in the mall. I was shopping one day, and I could sense these girls were like following me around, but they didn't want to say anything. They were shy. I just walked over to them. I'm like, "Do you guys know me from TikTok?" Because I just knew they were too shy to say anything.
Right.
But it was awesome. I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, you mentioned the show a few times, but can you walk us through kind of what the process was like to just
like
be on it and get on it?
It was weird. Okay, so I'm going to give you the whole rundown.
Please,
yes.
Right when I turned 19, I auditioned to be in the first season. So this was like way back, right when, I don't remember, COVID just kind of happened.
Yeah.
It was a weird time.
That sounds right, yeah.
And so I put out my audition. I had an interview and I tanked it. I was so hungover. I'm not even kidding. I was so hungover. I was like twitching. I had an Advil beside me with a glass of water. And I just knew it went terribly. I started talking, and as I was talking, I was like, I'm tanking this. And so I just kind of put my hopes so far down for going on TV because I was like, maybe I'm just not cut out for it.
Right.
And it was so vulgar and like weird to talk about certain dating things that you wouldn't want to talk about, especially when you're just on a phone call with someone you don't even know.
Yeah.
And then after that, I just kind of left it. And then from then on, I started getting DMs and DMs every year of them being like, audition for this show. It was it never said like too hot to handle. It was like parties in paradise. Like, girls on a yacht or something random, right? And so I just kind of never answered it. And then it wasn't until this past year that a friend of mine reached out and said, you should really just put in your application. I really want you to do it. Like, just put it in just to see how things go. And I was like, I don't really want to. I think I'm fine. I'm content with my life. I'm happy. I'm good.
Yeah.
And then I had another friend reach out to me and say, please, my friend is a casting producer. Like, just write your name down. So in the application, I just filled out my basic information, like name, address, I think Instagram, and that was it. I pressed like save application. I was like, I'll fill it out later. The deadline's way past due. And I got a text message saying, we're going to advance you just straight for an interview. And I was like, what? I didn't even do my okay, guys. And then I got on a FaceTime, and I was like, I'm not going to get it. So I just went in. I was just being silly and goofy and just chatting and just being myself. And they were like, oh, my God, we love it. We ate it up. And then I fast forward to, like, more casting process, and everything kind of just went from there. Up until the point where they flew me out to do the show. I'm there, and they were like, just remember, it's not a guarantee you'll get on it. And I was like, yeah, I know, I'm not gonna get it. I didn't buy all new clothes. I wasn't really like prepared to go on TV. And then they were like, okay, you made it, and you're starting cast. I was like,
okay.
Oh my God.
Do they like give you wardrobe?
No,
it's all your own
all
stuff.
your own stuff.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought like they were like, here.
I know.
Yeah, it would be nice.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? They were just like, what's your size? Here you go.
I love playing dress up. So
yeah.
It would be so fun.
That would
just
be
like,
so fun.
I like this. I like this. I like this. But I also like that it was my own stuff because I could go in and feel super comfortable in my own clothes, like my own style. I didn't feel like I had to like dress up a certain way or not a certain way.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And then what's something you wish you knew before starting your career?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know. I would just say be super comfortable in being yourself because there's no point in pretending to be something that you're not or pretending to be like demure when I'm not a demure girl. I'm like, I will chat. I don't know why I'm trying to hide that, you know?
Yeah.
And then a lot of times I feel like I made myself a lot smaller than I should have. I was always like, oh my God, I'm too nervous or I'm too scared.
Right.
Yeah.
Or what if. And instead I was like, oh, if I just took the leap, if I just said it and you know what, I put it out there. I would
just
rather do times 10 than do -1.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good for
I think
you.
that's what I would say.
Yeah, that's
good.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's really good. Do you have any tips for somebody that would want to audition for a reality show?
I would say be super comfortable with being you.
Yeah.
You know? I think going in, I was a little insecure of like how I'd be portrayed, how I would look, how anything would happen. And once I was in the house, I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. But as soon as I was like, okay, you know what, I just have to be me. And there was a moment when I was just so much more comfortable with being myself in the house. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to talk a little more. I'm going to do a little more. I'm going to do this. But also just be prepared to be so comfortable with who you are that you're not going to be influenced by someone else.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Because in the house too, they do tell you certain things and like they try to get in your head. And so like for me too, I'm like, I'm not going to go make a move on a guy first. So why am I going to do that? They have to come to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
You said that.
I say that all the time.
I'm not vague. Like I don't know what you guys want me to say. So when it came down to like being on TV and stuff like that, there was moments when I was like, okay, this is so out of character and I should just do it for the TV. But then I'm like, that's not me.
No.
Yeah.
As soon as I was like comfortable and having a moment like that, I was like, okay, I'm good. Because if I acted so out of character just for TV or for clout or for anything like that, I would be so much more ashamed of that person that I am instead of staying true to who I am.
Right. Yeah.
So for anyone like wanting to pursue something like that, just stay true to who you are.
Yeah.
Stay
100%.
completely comfortable with who you are.
Absolutely.
And I feel like the rest will follow.
Yeah.
Do you think it helped that there was like other seasons before you, so you kind of knew what to expect?
Kind of, but also no, because they didn't tell us how our season was going to be different at all. They didn't tell us.
Yeah, because your
anything
season was
going in.
really different.
Yeah, ours was like I was shocked. 24/7.
Yeah.
But I also think just having it known that it was too hot to handle, you also feel pressured to go in and like act a certain way, which is like extremely aggressive and like doing very, personal acts.
Right.
You wouldn't really do stuff like that in the real world.
Right.
And everything is sped up. Like we're only in there for a month. So
Oh wow!
I thought it was longer.
Wow! I thought it was like
I thought it was
like a whole
longer.
summer or something.
No, so like day 1, 2 is like one day, and all of that stuff happens. So right when you meet someone, you're expected to kiss them, pretty much, and it's like, I'm not gonna do that.
I'd be scared.
Are you kidding? I'd be like,
Get away from me.
not today.
So I just think like
I'm shocked.
I don't know, maybe because the previous seasons it actually set you up for like a little bit of failure, just because it's just that type of show.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, I was like, I'm not gonna do something I'm not gonna want to.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't
Oh my
really
gosh!
want
Of course not.
And then going into, you also don't really know anyone else there, like your other co-stars that you're when we see on screen you meeting them, it's like you're actually meeting them. It's like this is the first time you're
so
talking to
scary.
you and everything. So
No joke, that's our exact first reaction. I mean, there's conversations that happen a little bit more that don't get put on the TV.
Of course.
But in that moment too, you're all just standing there with like a bunch of cameras, and you're like, okay, let's get to know each other.
Gosh, that's so nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Especially because with it being on Netflix, you don't really know who's watching because so many countries have Netflix.
I think that was the craziest thing too, the amount of reach that we
Yeah.
got compared to what I was expecting. I was like, oh, no one's really gonna see it. And now I'm like, oh my God, what do I do?
It's pretty popular.
Yeah.
I think the most the craziest moment when I knew is when I opened my phone and Netflix popped up and my picture was like right on
Yeah.
Oh my
on it.
gosh.
that was insane.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
so exciting.
obviously like the other stuff like Times Square and like seeing billboards and things like that. But I think like even when I just turn on the TV and you see like Netflix and it says #1 show and there's your picture.
That's so cool.
I had butterflies for like months straight.
Oh,
I can imagine.
Well, that's awesome.
That was awesome.
Is there like other stuff that you have been doing and any other projects?
Yeah, I'm doing a few other TV related projects. I can't talk about them.
That's okay.
I'm sad.
It's okay.
No worries.
When
We'll
it
see
comes
it.
out, you'll see it.
Yeah, we'll see it.
We know her.
Yeah. We'll see it. All right. So, first question. How do you handle rejection, both professionally and personally?
Okay, I learned to take I almost said regression. I learned to take rejection with like a grain of salt. I think that rejection is always just redirection. If it's a no now, it doesn't mean that it's a no down the line. And just because like sometimes I always think,
so smart.
Sometimes I just think that a lot of rejection moments have saved me from a moment that I wish that I wasn't ready for or I wasn't prepared for as well.
Yeah.
So I think just in the past, it's like, okay, you know what? It didn't work out now, but it doesn't mean that it didn't work out later. Yeah. It's like even with Too Hot to Handle, I was not ready when I was 19. If I went in then, I would have been.
Oh my gosh, that season was crazy too.
That was crazy.
Jealousy. Oh no.
I wouldn't have been myself. I wouldn't have been comfortable. I feel like I wouldn't have had me being comfortable who I am.
Yeah.
So then it obviously down the line worked out now. Like, oh my God, it worked out perfectly. So I just think that rejection personally, it doesn't even, not that it shouldn't affect you because it obviously should, but it just means like, okay, you know what, maybe I'm not ready for it yet.
Yeah.
Maybe I can work on myself more. I can work on something else that could be better in whichever direction you might take it.
Yeah.
That's such a positive way of looking at it. I've never heard anyone be that positive about it. Oh my gosh.
I don't mind. I think like, you know how there's those trends about going on like rejection therapy and all that stuff? I'm like, I think I do that day to day. I just think like there's nothing to be afraid of because at the end of the day, like we're so hard on ourselves. And at least me, I'm so hard on myself. Like I'm harder on myself than I am anyone else. So if you give yourself a little bit of grace and you just say, you know what, like I would never be this mean or hard on myself to my friends, let alone my family, then why am I doing it to myself? So sometimes I'm like, I'm just throwing myself a pity party. And then, exactly. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. Nothing's that big of a deal.
And I think that a lot of people really need to hear that too. Because a
100%.
lot of the time we all think very negatively, especially about ourselves. We're our biggest critics, really.
Oh my God,
100%.
Yeah, we really are.
100%.
And like half the stuff, like you look in the mirror and be like, oh my gosh, like my chin looks weird today or something like that. No one notices. Literally no one's going to notice at all. Like we're just noticing because it's ourselves.
It's like
and we want to be perfect all the time, but there's no such thing as that.
Like that trend on TikTok where people would show the pictures and it'd be like, but did you notice
God,
like
did you notice?
my hair sticking up? Or did you notice my nails weren't
one
done?
noticed.
It's like,
You
no.
look great. Don't
but only you
even.
would notice about yourself.
Exactly.
I think
Exactly.
honestly, if you think about it too, you just think everyone's so focused on themselves. They're too busy focusing on themselves to worry about you. So
that's true too.
If I'm not even worrying about me, no one else is too. So I don't really care.
100%.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Stress and imposter syndrome are like struggles that for like many of us and us especially like navigate those feelings. Like, do you have any advice for like dealing with it?
I think I've done grounding exercises. It sounds so like, oh my God, I'm a spirituals guru. I honestly feel like sometimes I just found myself like stressing about so many things that are inevitable, preventable, or just I don't need to be stressing about. So something like, oh my God, what am I going to do tomorrow? Or I'm not where I want to be physically or like in my career yet. I just think those are so many things that are so overarching that you can't control. And like what you can't control is like right here, right now. So if you're like, oh my God, okay. There's another practice that I practice on TikTok. it was like, oh my God, today I woke up, or I was 50 years old, and today I woke up in my 20-year-old self body. And then in that moment, it was like, how many things that you could do that you would change differently from being 50 to now. So something I do is like, oh my God, I'll text my mom just because I'm like, oh my God, I would love to have a good relationship with my mom. I would love to feel my body be happy again. If I were old, I couldn't move. So I'll do something that's like something I couldn't move. And then I think about like, oh my God, I couldn't do this when I'm older, so why not do it now? So those are a lot of things that I like to do.
I like that.
That's good.
That's good
You're so
advice.
positive. I love it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But speaking of good advice, any first heartbreak advice?
Oh God. I dated all the bad men, so you don't have to. No, I found that I dated a lot of really bad guys, and I stayed in it for character development. No, I'm kidding. But it's just because I didn't notice red flags, and I was so blind to red flags really quick on, because I'm like, oh my God, I love you.
Oh my gosh,
No, you don't love yourself.
No.
I feel like what I would suggest to you guys, just because I was boy crazy, and I think that I looked for a love in someone else because I was lacking the love for myself. So when I was looking for a guy who I was like, oh my God, once I'm in a relationship, I'll be this, I'll be that. And I was always waiting for that moment to be with someone to have that.
Right.
I was just lacking it on my own with myself first. And so I found that when I was in a relationship in the past and I was looking for, I wanted energy, I wanted someone to wake up and be happy with. I was like, why can't I do that by myself? And so when it came down to loving myself and like having a moment where I was comfortable with being by myself and alone, and like happy, then I was like, okay, I don't need a man.
100%.
I think for heartbreak too, like don't think that you could just get over it really quickly.
Right.
Because in the past I've done that so quick where it's like to get over someone you get under someone else. But that never helps because you bring trauma and like emotions and things that you haven't dealt with into a new relationship. You don't understand how much it's going to hurt you as much as it hurts the other person. And like for me now, I just don't want to hurt another person because I would rather work on myself and like be healed and go into something really positively because I'm only going to attract something that's really positive. So if I'm going in and I'm like insecure about something, then I'm only just going to project that in a relationship. If I'm going in and I'm like sad about someone else, then like having a new person to obsess over isn't going to replace that. It's not going to help. And like at least in the past I was like, oh, I'm so sad, I'm going through a heartbreak. I'm like, get the hell up. What are you doing? So I just think like for me at least it was more of decentering men because I was always focused on like, oh my God, I need to find a guy instead of it being like, okay, I need to work on these things for myself. So that's what I would say.
100%.
But it even helps when you get, because how old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay, so you're a few years older than us, so like it even helps when you get older because when you're younger, like late teens or like I'm gonna be 21 this year, they're gonna be 20. It's like when you're this age, you tend to be boy crazy. When you get older, it's like you figure out that you don't need a man to be happy. Like you can be perfectly fine just by yourself, and I think that's what a lot of people portray when they do get older. It's like if you don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, whatever, that's totally fine. 100%.
Also, like it's companionship. Like I love having like a man to do things with. Don't worry, I'm a little lover girl too. But I love having like a man to do things with and like feel safe with. And like there's just little things that you can't get with your girlfriends, but at the same time it's like you can get that feeling with your friends, with like conversations with your family, with other 100%. Things that you can find. So I just think that anything you're like hoping and wanting and waiting for and like wishing for in a relationship, you can find within yourself.
100%.
Well, since we covered heartbreak, what about first date advice?
Oh.
You used to blog it on TikTok going on a date.
Okay, so I would say a lot of the time when I was going on first dates, I was kind of looking at the guy, but I was focused on myself. And I mean, that goes back to what we were saying, like we're always focusing on ourselves and stuff. And then that's why I think I've gotten past so many red flags in the beginning is because I didn't have a clear outlook or like intention of why I was going on dates. So now when I'm dating guys, it's not just I'm going on a date because they're hot or I'm going on a date because I think I like their friends or whatever. But I just think now that I have like my intention of like what I want in a man, what I won't settle for, all the things that I'm going to put in my boundaries and in my places, those are things that are non-negotiable for me. So as soon as someone like weavers around or like I can sense a red flag, I'm like, okay, they gotta go. No matter how far
gotta go.
I'm into it, like
gotta go.
100%.
And I just think too about relationships, when you go in and you have expectations, don't think about so much of the future with them. Think about how they're showing themselves and how they're revealing themselves to you. So don't go into it thinking like, okay, I need to interview this guy. Is he going to pass all of the check boxes? Because I used to do that. I was like, does he check all my boxes? But then men lie. Men lie. So they can check all the boxes verbally, but it doesn't mean they're going to show up.
Actions speak louder than words.
Exactly. Actions speak louder than words.
No, they do.
And
Absolutely.
so when you're going on dates, I just think it's so important to let someone show you who they are and like their character and how all that is, and then decide if you want to be with them and not will they change or can they be better or how will they do this in the future, because whatever they show you is how they are. That's it.
That's it's true.
100%.
When they show you your true colors, or when they show you their true colors, I got it, guys. I'm okay. Well, you know. You know, like for example, if you do something by accident and they like freak out at you, that's a big red flag. Gotta go. I think that's important for people.
100%.
How do you approach like relationships in the public eye?
Oh God, at first I was petrified because I'm so private and I love to keep my life private. Like I don't talk about my family out in the open. Like I don't post them all the time, and I just think like it's my little secret. But at first when I was posting the guys, I was like, this is so fun. They don't care. They're just a character in my little TV show. But now I think after being on the show and having everything so publicly, it's like I'm afraid because once you're in the public eye, people are so quick to judge. And so
100%.
quick to like jump to a conclusion or this or create their own narrative of you. And so that's a little nerve-wracking. And two, it's like I can't control any of it always. But then I'm so scared of men doing me wrong because I've had so many bad experiences with that. And so I'm just like a little afraid to post a man.
Honestly, that's so fair. That's so fair. And also I think, I mean, not that I'm in like the public eye or anything, but even like sometimes keeping relationships private, it just it feels more safe. That's why, because like say like you post your man and then people like maybe girls are like trying to slide in his DM now because they know who he is, you know what I mean? So it's just like fair, it's like a boundary thing, like I don't know.
Or they stir stuff up like I saw him on a dating app or
they like
I went to high school with him and then I went on a date,
like that.
They
it's
say
like
the weirdest things. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say soft launch is my favorite thing.
Yes, like a little pic of holding hands. No one
knows who it is.
No one knows
who it is.
No one knows.
Like,
and if they question you, just like be like, just send that emoji.
I don't know.
This random guy held my hand. This random guy held my hand. I don't know why. I just thought it was cute.
Literally, they'd be like, who is it? I'd be like, I don't know.
The best is like the detectives on like TikTok.
Oh my God.
Like, well, there's like a mole like symmetrically on the like
by the mole.
And they find it. We found him.
Yeah. Like, whoa. I don't know how they do that, but
we got him.
Work for the FBI.
Somebody did that to me, I would have been like,
I'd be scared.
How did you do that?
The privacy thing is so much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
I think if you're keeping it private, it's like yours. I don't really care if other guys slide on my man's DM because that's on him and not the girl.
I agree.
I agree. 100%.
I do agree.
Speaks volumes.
Yeah, and if he respects me and he values our relationship enough, that's already where he'll put that in his court. I don't care. Girls should hit on him. He's hot. Like, it should happen. And I'm not the part where. Or I'm not the person where I get jealous or like insecure about stuff like that because I just think like if you let them do what they're gonna do, then that's how they're gonna react. And I don't think it's up to the girl because I'm like, okay, you can have the hottest girl slide in your DM, and that's on you to have self-control.
I agree, 100%.
But I also think like girls out there, I hate talking bad about girls because I'm like, you guys are my people. But like, I just think evil eye is so real.
Yes.
Oh yes.
I think it's so real.
Yes. 100% karma as well.
Yes.
And like no matter what people want to say, if they're speaking so highly about you or so negatively about you, there's always going to be people in your court and then against your court.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Even if someone's like, "Oh my God, I'm so happy to see you happy," I'm like, "But do you though?"
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Do you though? Yeah. Oh my gosh. 100%.
No, 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
And especially like not being super public, but having things out in the open and public that's like knowledge about your personal life. Yeah. It can be so quick to be like taken away from you or showing you exactly why it shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And it's just so tricky. But that's just my opinion because in my head I'm also like I just posted my man like 5 days ago.
No, but it's also like I feel like posting on Instagram in general is just the scariest thing known to man. Like I literally will like I'm like no, I can't. And then I'll pick it up and I'm like, no, I can't. I panic. I literally, I'm like messaging them. I'm like, guys, do I post this? Like, do I? Nah, I won't. Like, it's like just going in my head. Like, I post on Snapchat. I don't care. I'll post on TikTok. I don't care. But something about Instagram, I can't do it.
I have like an anxiety attack after I post something. I'll like refresh every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh.
Or do you ever like when you post like a picture or something of yourself on Instagram and you like refresh and see that like say like you liked it, I'll always go and see the post and see what it looks like to other people. Even though it's me and I just posted, I'm like, what does it look like if Lucia's liking this? Like if it popped up on Christina's feed, what does it look like?
I know. I will delete the app. You know when you like refresh it out.
I
post something, I'll give it like a good like 1-2 minute, and I'm like, okay, new eyes. How does it look?
How does it look?
Like go on my laptop. What does it look like?
Laptop is so real. I have my iPad so I can see it bigger.
Yeah, and also. You think too, like some people are just overly judgy for no reason. So like I post a lot which I've always been like that. And I remember this one guy said to me, "You post too much." I'm like, but why does it matter to you?
Yeah. If you don't like it, don't follow me.
No, exactly. If you don't, but like, what's the point of like telling me? Like, do you think I'm gonna change? No. Like, I've done this since like 7th grade. I don't care. Like, you know, just
because if you
people are scary.
Opinion, they don't matter.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
If it's my girlfriend, it's like, don't post it. I'm like, okay, you're right.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Don't post it. I'm like, 10 more.
10 more. Times more. If you don't like it, why are you looking
They
through
also
it?
aren't like detail oriented. Like there's the other trend on TikTok where it's like, what picture should I post? And like her hand's here and then her fingers like this and one that's like this and the other. It's like your friends will tell you, no, the second one, but a guy would be like,
we can spot the difference.
Yeah, it's like when they say that you versus a girl who doesn't have her curls combed out.
They don't notice.
They don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like, what's wrong with my hair? They're like, nothing.
Also, too, with like getting your nails done, like you'll send like 2 shades of like purple or something, and they'll be like, oh, they look the exact same. No, they don't.
No.
One's lighter, one's darker.
lighter.
The detail matters.
The detail matters. One has a blue undertone, one has a white undertone. Like, there's a difference, guys. Okay, we're not crazy. There's a difference.
Speaking of like dating and public eye, even with not even the show, but even in real life in your own relationship, what is your take on like instant attraction or like love at first sight? And like, do you think it can lead to lasting relationships, or is it just like a passing spark?
I feel like I'm like lover girl, so I believe it.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I'm like, okay, that is your body giving you anxiety. I know. I saw this thing that was like, if you have butterflies, it's not butterflies, it's anxiety. And I'm like, oh my god, that
oh my gosh.
Oh my god, that makes
so
sense.
different.
No.
Right?
I'm like rethinking life over now.
The amount of times you told me, like, wait,
gosh.
I'm getting butterflies. I'm like, wait.
Right? Because we all like go into this limerence and we all think about all these things, and I'm like, okay, but did I really like him, or did I like how I felt around him?
Oh,
or like the idea of
Or
him.
the idea
of it. Yeah, that's another reason why people tend to stay in like abusive relationships, is because they think that they can like change them, and then they like think about what it would be like if they do change.
Yeah, or they only look at the positives. I'm like, baby, he hits you.
Yeah,
No.
like no, gotta exit.
I know.
It's
so bad,
true.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's such a like a triggering subject, because my friend was in a really abusive
Yeah.
relationship, and it was so hard because I loved her so much. And I was like, you are so loved, and you have
It's hard to
love
see them go
around
through that.
you.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
And that person is not that person that you thought they are.
And
they are a completely different person.
for
and you
sure.
can't, like, I know that you see the good and you see the love and you see everything that's so positive about them.
Yeah.
But they are treating you how someone should never treat you.
No,
And
100%.
it's like so easier said than done.
Yeah.
Right.
But when you have like that love and that bond and that attachment to someone, and they can disrespect you and disregard your feelings, it's just it's so hard to watch and to see.
And like also when you're in that situation, you don't see what other people are seeing.
Yeah.
Like
You're blindsided.
like I was in a really bad like relationship, and then I didn't see like anything until after we were broken up. Like 6 months after, I was like, oh my gosh, this all makes sense now.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
Especially when you can look back and you're like, wait, how did I put up with this?
Yes.
How did
Oh
I
my
look
gosh,
at this?
100%.
How did I not notice this was a red flag in the beginning? And it was, honestly, I think when I say this, like, oh, you need to have love for yourself. But it goes back to that. Like, if you loved yourself so much that you would, like, I would never allow someone to treat my little girl like that. I'm like, I look at myself like a little girl sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I treat myself like, if I had a daughter, I would treat her like my daughter. So if I'm talking to guys or I'm having friends in my life, I'm like, okay, would they be good for my daughter? And it's like
that's a good way to look at it, especially like
100%.
when you're in like your 20s or something. That's a good way to look at it. Are they going to be a good dad? Are they going to be there for this, that, and whatever? Like that's important.
Yeah.
And I think maybe just because I don't make the best decisions for myself. I know that sometimes I'm like, I just go with the flow. I'm seeing where things go, or I'm just having fun. And I don't think of the repercussions all the time. But as soon as I started looking at myself as like my daughter, I was like, this is so different. Like, I would
that's a
never
good way
make
to
those
look at it.
decisions.
Yeah.
Because like the little girl in you still lives within you.
I know.
Yeah.
She's right here.
She's here.
How important do you think like self-love is?
Oh, 100%. Like that's all of it. Self-love before anything else.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, who do you have other than you?
Yeah.
You can say that you have other people, but at the end of the day, you're going to have your own back. You've been through your whole life.
Right.
You're the only one who's been through what you've been through. You've seen through your own eyes everything that's happened. You know how you feel, how real emotions are. And if you have like self-love and understanding and like character growth and development, I feel like that's that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, go on. Do you have any advice for someone struggling with body image?
Yes. I'm like, oh, this is such a deep topic. Because
it is.
I feel like for so long I was struggling with body image, and I feel like you guys growing up and doing dance and everything, you get it. Like, it's just so, it's like important because your body is your vessel, and like everyone looks at it, they judge it, whether you like it or not. It's how you're going to be perceived and taken, and it's really difficult for me to say one thing like, oh my god, just be happy, because it's not true.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't just say, oh, I don't want to worry about a flat stomach today and not one tomorrow, because I wake up and I'm like, oh my god, I want to be skinny. So I'm worried. I'm not the best to say that advice, but I just think if you think about yourself as other positive traits and everything else, like what do I bring to the table, what makes me so unique, and what makes me confident, and if you can learn to love those things and about you, then I don't really think that body image really matters. And I think when I was at like my goal look, I was working out every day, I was prepping for the show, I was like on a strict diet, I was so miserable. Like I put on clothes and I felt confident, but I was like, the feeling that I had inside, I was like, I felt happier when I wasn't doing all these things.
Right.
And so I was missing that within myself, but I think that I had to find it, being comfortable in my skin and being comfortable with how I was in order to feel that way, even though it wasn't a positive image.
I agree.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I know. I'm like, I didn't really talk about it. I kind of talked around it.
No, it's good. It's also like,
it's a big topic.
It's what society like pushes on people, that like the beauty standard, you have to have this type of hair and you have to be this weight and this height and whatever. And it's like, even like you notice your own flaws that nobody else will pick up. Like if you have a gray hair right here, I'm not going to notice that other than like yourself. Like you only notice it.
When it was, I think the point where I was like, okay, I'm just comfortable being who I am, is when I dated this guy, and he would tell me so many negative things. Like he was like, basically he told me I was not his type. He was like, I like blondes, I like girls who are curvy, I like this, I like that, and he would tell me that all the time.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't even want to start. But I just think like,
get out.
Yeah. In my head, I'm like, I'm someone's dream girl. Like,
exactly.
I can be my own dream girl. I know that I've done the work on myself. I'm so positive about myself. My mindset, you can't take that away from me. There's so many positive and great things about me. And I'm like, if you can't see that because you want a blonde girl, then okay, find a blonde girl.
Yeah, find her.
Put a wig on her. Like, I don't know. So I think when it came down to like body positivity and image, I was like, you know what? Why am I focusing on something that I can't even control?
Right. Yeah.
So with my hair color, I could dye it, but how happy am I going to be with dead hair?
Yeah.
I could change my clothes, but am I really comfortable in those same clothes?
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
I mean, I could go to the gym, but at the same time, I'm like, do I even want to be here? I mean, I go to the gym every day, but I'm not happy to be there. And I'm not going for like, oh my god, I need a BBL looking, you know. But at the same time, I just think like, this is for me and like for my positivity.
You want to do what makes you happy.
100%.
And I started going to like do the treadmill and all that, because I'm like, okay, I want to be able to run a race as opposed to like looking good in a bikini.
Right.
Yeah.
And as soon as I was able to like switch that mindset and switch how I was comfortable being with who I am, I was like, this doesn't even matter.
No.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of talked on like lessons you learned about love and relationships from like your own experiences and stuff.
So,
all right. Oh my god, hello.
Yes.
Anyway, topic number 3. First question. How do you manage stress and prioritize your mental health, especially after such an intense experience with being on a reality show?
Okay, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. That show was really difficult.
Really?
I think you go through like a weird withdrawal period, because as soon as you land, you don't get your phone. And you don't get contact to any people that you usually talk to.
Oh my gosh, I would die.
You know how many times I call my mom? I'm like, Mom, like I can't find parking. Mom, I can't do this. Mom, I can't do that. So just like immediate cutoff of people that I use for grounding and people that I talk to on a daily. It was so hard. Like imagine I just took your phone away and you were like, you can't talk to your best
I'd freak
friends
out, guys. Like, I'd be like, give it back right now. Give it back.
So at first it was really difficult, and then you get used to it because you're like, oh, it's okay. I don't really care.
That's fair.
And then you go through really significant things in the show that you're like, oh my god, I wish I had someone who knows me really well that would give me the best advice, or like tell me what I need to hear right now. So when it comes to like my mom or my sister or someone that I talk to all the time, and like they'll just tell me like, it's okay,
straight
you're
up.
okay.
Right.
that's exactly what I needed to hear, just to feel comfort and like okay again. And I didn't have any of that. They had a psychologist come in.
You know what?
Or a therapist. I don't think it was a psychologist. I think it was a therapist.
I think that makes a little sense.
So she speaks to us before we go into the house, and she does like a whole intro. She speaks to us and like gets to know us. What are your hesitations? What are you nervous about? How are you feeling? And then you go into the house, and they say that she's there for whenever you want to talk to her. I asked to speak to her twice, and I didn't get to talk to her. Because I was going through like
that's not
fair.
It was so bad, and I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but it was so bad. And I just, even when I left the house, I was in shambles. I was crying. I was like, what the heck is wrong with me? And there was just a big moment of like, you have such an anticipation and build up to go on TV of like something that you're so excited about. We were casting for a whole year. Like I was so excited to do it. And then you get there and you get let down. And I think that was the biggest upset, because I was like, oh my God, I'm letting myself down. I'm doing all these things, and why didn't this work out? Or why couldn't I have 10 boys crushing over me? And, you know, you go in expecting things like that to happen. And then if they don't happen or they don't work out in your favor, you think
something's wrong.
Exactly.
100%.
And so that was really stressful and super anxiety ridden, because I was just spinning in my own thoughts in my head constantly. And even in the house, we'd go to bed at night and I'm like, I can't sleep because I'm just thinking about things, and I can't like mindlessly escape on TikTok.
You
I'd be screwed. I'd be so screwed. I'd be done.
The amount of times I'll get a TikTok and I'm like, why are you up at like 4 a.m.? And she's like,
I've gotten those
she
too.
falls asleep. I get 5 notifications.
I fall asleep with it.
It's like,
and I send random videos to her.
Random videos. I'm like, what is this? Like,
and I'm like, I think I fell asleep, and I just sent like a sheep in like a field to you.
I was like,
sheep in a field.
But I remember I responded to it. I was like, yeah, that's so real. And you were like, wait, I never even sent that.
I don't remember sending that.
I look and I comment on videos that I didn't know because I'm falling asleep and my phone's pressing.
Oh my gosh, that
I
freaks
almost
me
did
out.
one where I fell asleep and I held the screen and it went onto like my Snapchat, and I didn't post it. It was just there for me to like put like the text and everything, and I was like, what am I doing? What is happening?
No, but I love like a phone escape, you know what I mean? Or I love like reading a book, or like writing letters. And for me, I'll be like, okay, I just need to write down how I'm feeling, like dear diary.
Dear diary.
I didn't get any of that because we don't get any of it in the show.
Not even a book.
Not even like a book. That's
like
that. That is crazy.
There's no TV. Not like you're just talking 24/7.
Yes.
Oh my God, I actually would have gone crazy. What did you eat?
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's a good question. That's a good question.
We ate so good in that house.
Okay,
good.
Like mealtime was my favorite. I was like,
that's so fair.
No avocado toast every day.
So in the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be in a bikini every day, and I was already like training really hard to get into the house. So when I was doing like working outs, I limited myself to 2 meals a day, but I would eat like really square meals. Does that make sense? Or like I would snack throughout the whole day.
That's fair.
So when I went into the house, I was so thrown off of my regular schedule, and they make you and force you to eat sometimes. So like right when you wake up, you have to have breakfast, and
that would drive me crazy.
I hate breakfast.
I never do that.
I couldn't do that.
I like to have like a little matcha, croissant, maybe just chill out, and then I'll eat breakfast later on, or I'll eat like a really big lunch. I'm like a big lunch girl.
Same.
Yeah.
Breakfast, I'm like, I could pass. So when it came to eating breakfast, they forced you to eat breakfast. I hated it. Blah. And then we're in a bikini all day, so I'm like feeling full and gross and sluggish.
Right.
But then lunch would come, and it was amazing. And I'm such a lunch girl, I would gouge on lunch. Like some days it would be like pasta or like chicken or like salads, and it was just such a mix. We never got anything twice. So
wow,
that's pretty good.
That is very good.
Breakfast, I mean, is like standard breakfast, but like still for lunch and dinner, we never got anything
That's
twice.
pretty good.
Yeah. And then when it came down to dinner time, it would be dinner, but it was weird because every time we had our meals, everyone had to separate, and like you can't talk about the show. You're only with the girls. You're like mic'd up still. Even if you had like a slight conversation, they're like, stop talking. So you just have to be like,
Oh my
god, it's strict.
I would die because like when I'm eating, I have something playing. My mom was literally yelling at me. She's like, "Stop doing that!"
I have to
I'm like, "Mom, I need something."
Or like I like fully will scroll until I can find something that I want to watch, and then I'll be like, "Okay, now I can eat."
No, literally, I won't eat until I have something.
My food gets cold
I need something.
Well,
because like sitting in silence would just be so awkward.
Yeah, with my plate clinking, like that's
like you're just like,
I'd be too worried I'm chewing too loud. I asked you the other day, am I chewing too loud?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that too, 100%.
Mm-hmm. But like for meals, oh my god, I'm like so scatterbrained. But for meals, it was so good. I just overate like way too much. Like,
yeah.
And then because they're tracking you and they're like, okay, well you need to eat more, you need to eat this, you need to eat that. It kind of like you feel pressured.
Yeah.
And then when you don't
that's
want to
not great.
eat, or like you're like, oh my god, like this is you don't get to control what time you eat either. You eat when they say you eat, and you don't get to eat when they don't let you eat. So like some days I'd be like, oh my god, I'm starving, like I really need a snack, and they couldn't give you one. I'd be like, please just give me an apple.
Oh my god,
like, just an apple.
No, literally.
You get water 24/7, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Is it only water, or is there like pop and stuff?
Oh yeah, you can have pop,
Okay.
but I'm not like a pop drinker, and they don't have every pop. Like you had to request it.
Oh.
Yeah, so there was a big thing where we requested Diet Coke, and everyone was on Diet Coke.
Oh my god.
That's real.
And then one of the girls, I don't know if I should say her name because I'm scared she's gonna get outed. But anyway, she was like really smart about product placement, because if there's a product in the shot, they can't use the video at all.
That's fair.
So
you know what? That makes
little
sense.
Kisses with the Diet Coke.
Oh my gosh.
That's
and then
pretty
like
smart.
certain conversations, she would make sure that she was like away from her mic. She had a pop in the machine. Like,
Damn.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
That's like next level thinking. I would not think about
No,
that.
I'd forget.
I'd just be like,
she's smart.
Yeah.
you caught me.
Yeah.
I would just surrender.
Like, yeah. Like,
Oh my gosh.
And because you weren't allowed to have your phone and everything, did you know at all like what time it was?
No,
oh.
So you didn't know what time you would go to bed,
You know
what time
what?
you'd
I
wake
kinda
up?
like that.
No, I go insane.
no, that was
I need to know what time it is
crazy.
constantly.
kind of like that.
I would ask, and they would say it's around afternoon.
What do you mean
It's
it's around the
morning.
afternoon?
It's around evening. Like that's all they would say. They
I don't
would
think
use
I
it.
could I don't think I could even sleep like that.
No.
It was really weird because in the bedroom it's fully blocked out. There's no windows, and it's all overhead, like just one light. The whole light is the ceiling. So it was brutal. Like,
That's
we would see when
brutal.
it would, you guys would like wake up. It would be the bright light, and everyone would get up like out of the bed, and like you're like always like this and everything. I would go insane.
So
the bright light had to wake me up.
I would freak
it
out.
was so
Yeah.
bad. Like morning time too. You kind of knew when you would wake up though. So that is like a little stage. Oh my god, I'm giving you guys all the tea. But so it's a little stage because we all have to wear a mic. So
Yeah.
when we're
that
about
makes
to wake
sense
up,
then.
we have a producer. They come around. They change our mic packs. They give us a new one for the day, and then they're like, okay, put on your mic. So you have to put your mic on, and you have to go back to bed. Sometimes you would wake up immediately, the lights would come on. Other times it would be like maybe half hour or an hour. So you would never know. So you're
That
either,
would be tricky.
yeah, so you kind of like lay there knowing that you're gonna have to wake up. But sometimes I've actually fallen asleep, and then they wake up with the lights, and I'm like,
What's going on, guys?
other times it was like, okay, I knew I was gonna wake up. So we're
That
just
kind of
like,
makes sense though.
fake yawn.
You're all like, your makeup's done and everything. Whoa. Like,
Whoa.
So strange. I just woke up like this.
That honestly makes sense because you don't want to have to like fumble around with the mic packs while they're filming, and then like it's in it, and you're like fiddling around in the corner, and that does
because it does make sense because everyone would get up and they would like get started on their day. I would like roll over and have a conversation with the wall for an hour. Like I take an hour to wake up after I actually wake up.
That's so the hardest thing too, is you're not allowed to like stick to your routine and what you're comfortable with, just because you are like on a TV schedule. So you can't. So even little things like I'm such a slow get ready girl. I love to take my time doing my makeup. I love to sit there and look at myself for an hour and a half. I love to like slowly get ready after a shower. Like I love my bathroom time. But in the show you get 15 minutes. You have to share a shower with 10 people. So you get scheduled like in and outs. It is so tricky. Like it's like imagine living like in a frat house with 10 people.
Oh my god.
Heck no.
I would die.
I take so long in the shower. I could not stick to that.
And like if you don't, then you're just gonna be on camera looking not your best. So you kind of have to follow with it. But it's
that
like
makes
crazy because there's moments where you rush, and you're getting ready and you're super fast and you sit around and you're waiting. So it's like, oh, this is annoying. Or like there's moments when you get 15 minutes to get ready and then you have like an hour and a half lunch. So you're just sitting at the table and you're like, okay, well I could have been doing my makeup.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. So I mean, to answer your first question, there's the stress point of view. Terrible. That is like probably one of the most stressful things I've ever done.
Yeah.
And being in the house, I think afterwards my mental health was distraught because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna be perceived. I don't know what's gonna go on TV because you don't get to see any of it. You don't get to know any of what they're putting out there.
Right.
And then you get a phone call one day saying the show's coming out in a few weeks, and they walk you through it on the phone. but they don't like give you all of it. They just kind of say how it's gonna go, and then right when it goes on Netflix is when we see it for the first time too. Damn. So yes, I lived it, and I had that experience, but I'm like, half of the life that I lived wasn't on the TV. Some of the interactions that really made other interactions valuable didn't happen. Some of the things that were said that really mattered into another conversation were not put there. Like even relationships that I had, or like kisses that were shared, they didn't make it to air. So it's like so strange to rewatch it, because you're like, did I live that wrong? Like, was
that even there?
That would trip me out. Because I would be like, wait, they forgot a part.
And then like even some of the days are mixed up. So some of the conversations that they show, I'm like, this didn't happen then, or like this happened later, or this happened this day, and like
that's
there's
weird.
just
That's a shocker.
Imagine the person who has to edit it.
I'd cry.
I'd give up. I'd be like, I'm done.
I wonder how that like process works, honestly.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think because they have like people following a storyline and like how things are going. They obviously pick and choose what is essential for the show to like make sure it's
what they want and what they don't want.
Right, that makes sense.
But it's just so insane, because right afterwards I was like, oh my god, everyone's gonna hate me, or I don't know what's gonna happen. So I was scrolling on Reddit 24/7.
That's so real.
Came out.
Oh my gosh,
I was like
Reddit.
looking my name, googling my name, checking everything on my name.
Yeah.
See, Reddit can be just really harsh though for that.
I mean, I got so lucky. Everyone on Reddit's been pretty nice.
That's good.
Yeah. See, I've seen a lot of
my best
in that
friend watched the season, and I told her you were coming on, and she was like, wait, I loved her. Like,
I was so excited when I saw this in Toronto, Ontario. I was like, yes, finally a Canadian.
Yeah,
I know. I love when Canadians get on shows.
I love it too, because I'm like, oh my god, yes.
Immediate support. Immediate.
And then I think on Reddit, I just got really lucky, because they weren't super tearing me down, but I didn't have enough screen time for them to be like, this girl.
Yeah, because that would just...
Yeah, and so I'm pretty happy with how they edited it for the most part. But I mean, some of my really good jokes didn't make it.
Oh, no.
And there was even little moments that happened on screen that I was like, oh, that shows more of my personality than anything, and you didn't include it. Like little conversations. Like I remember pulling Louis aside one day, and he made Gianna cry in that cabana for one of the days, and she was so distraught, like so upset. And I pulled him aside. I said, that's my friend in this house. You go apologize. He was like, I don't know what I said, or how am I said, take accountability for your actions.
Absolutely.
Stupid. Don't do something like that, and you hurt someone's feelings. Just because you unknowingly did it doesn't mean you didn't do it. I pulled them aside and I made sure that happened, and then as soon as they made up, they started having like a romantic relationship. So I think if they showed that, it would be so important to the storyline.
No, 100%. That would have been so important.
And instead, they coerced me into saying that it was for, like, I think in a confessional, they were like, just say that, do you think he's using her? I was like, I don't think so, but I mean, I hope he's not using her for, a rebound.
Oh, I remember that part.
So out of context.
Yeah.
I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I remember that. So you guys were sitting in the room, and he was like, hi, nice to meet you, I'm Louie. And then that's when your part. That makes sense.
See, and that's but with that manipulation tactic, that's how they make villains. Because and then they can edit it the way that they want it.
They did.
They were trying to set you up.
I know, but like I stuck to who I was for the most part. So
good for you.
Yeah,
good for you.
Yeah,
good for you.
And then afterwards, I did get like a lot of hate comments. I know, but in my head, they're not even that bad.
Okay, well, good. They don't exist. They're hiding behind a screen.
Yeah.
They don't exist.
And in my head, I'm like, I'm on TV and you're talking about me and you're not. So I don't really care.
Boom. Period. Yes.
So I just think no matter what, because even when I watch shows and I watch TV, I'm like, oh my God, I have my own opinion on these things. And I have my own opinion on who I like and who I don't like. But it's also with editing, and I don't know that person.
See, you gotta think about that too.
And I don't know that person. That's a person they made up on TV. That's a character.
That's true. It is a character.
So when it came down to me prioritizing like my mental health after the show, I was like, these people don't know me. They don't know the real
It's true.
me.
They don't know the real you.
How did you stay grounded, like from people's perception of you? You know,
I think more of it was like, I know who I really am.
Yeah.
And even though they don't see it, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, no matter what I do moving forward is going to speak on my character and who I am.
Absolutely.
So like even something like this, people are going to be like, oh, I didn't recognize her from Too Hot, but now I know who she is. And then they can go back and watch and see like that's exactly who I am and I haven't changed.
Right.
Versus like if I were to be something so out of character and then have to do a big fat like apology or making up to myself for something that's not that. And I think mainly because people are always going to have a perception of you. You can't control it. So like why dwell on it? Why think about it?
I agree.
That makes sense.
How do you balance like between work and like self-care and personal time?
I don't. I think that there's just never enough hours in a day. Every day.
Oh, 100%.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I
with
also
that.
think in constant improvement, because I know that people are like, oh, you should just live like you're not a improvement case. You know, people say that. I'm just like, yeah, but why not work on the best version of me that I possibly can be?
Right.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that as much as I try to spend time on working on myself and self-care and everything else, I just kind of see how the day takes it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And your advice for like someone starting the gym?
Oh, it's not easy. I swear, I hadn't worked out in so long, and then the first time I worked out was the toughest time ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I lifted up a 5-pound, my arm sunk to the ground. It was embarrassing. But I think just going is better than not going at all.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's a women's section in the gym that I go to, and I'm like, okay, this is my safe space.
That's so
That's
scary.
good.
Like, hey,
Yeah, it
working
makes
out
it
around
feel,
men.
The one I
yeah,
go
makes
to,
it-
they don't have that, and it's so scary.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Every time I
terrifying.
go, so that's why I'm like with my friends, like I'm not going if I don't have you guys. Like I'm
Yeah.
not going by
Yeah.
myself.
Because the world's a scary place.
Yeah,
You
gym
don't
guys
know.
are
You
a
don't know
different
who's
breed.
there.
They really
Oh my
are.
gosh,
Like,
yes.
They're
I
so
swear.
scary. Like, and then I'm like, if I'm lifting 5 and they're over there lifting like 20,000, 20,000. I'm like, God.
But it's like everyone was a beginner at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's true. Everyone
Yeah.
was a beginner.
In the
at one
beginning,
point.
when I first started going to the gym, I would go in like sweatpants and a sweater.
Yep.
Just
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like, it feels
That's-
so cozy
that's- yeah.
and safe
Yeah.
in my little outfit. Yeah. And then I would go with friends. Obviously, with friends,
Yeah.
it's so much
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
And
I
now
agree.
that I just go and I do my own thing and I know my routine, it's so much easier going to the gym. But just remember, like, 1% is more than 0.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as over time, like, now I pick up like 30-pound weights and I'm like, oh my God, this is so light. But before, I was like, this is nuts. That's half my body weight. I
Yeah.
can't pick
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah.
You'll just get better over time. So just keep practicing, keep at it. And that's all I can say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not like a gym girl at heart, so I'm not going to tell you to go to the gym. But also, like, you don't
fair.
have to go to the gym to work out.
I
Like,
agree.
I started
Walks,
tricking
yeah.
myself into thinking, like, oh my God, I have to be at the gym.
Right.
But then I started taking, like, Pilates, or I started
Yeah.
taking, like, boxing
Even
classes
yoga,
are so
yeah.
fun. If you just go when you're really angry and you just, like,
Oh my gosh, that's so
Let it
real.
out.
Oh my gosh.
and then, like,
Yes.
run clubs. That sounds so, like, oh my God, I'm a 5 a.m. run club. But, like, fun.
Honestly, that sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, I got class passes. Not an ad. No, I'm kidding. But I got class pass, and there's so many different kind of workouts on there that I just
Yeah.
started trying brand new things out all the time.
Yeah.
Like, just looking for what I actually like, as opposed to doing something that I don't like the gym.
Yeah.
It's so much
Yeah.
easier. Like, as long as you're moving your body, you're fine.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We'll do one more question.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you wanna?
Yeah. What's one piece of advice you would give to someone who feels overwhelmed by expectations society places on them?
I'm like, I do that to myself all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm such a victim of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, I know this sounds so bad, but you don't have to be that version that you're expecting yourself to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think that is such a far reach. If you
Oh,
want to
yeah.
be that version of you, it exists already, and you know that. That's why you want to be that person.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you're working on slowly becoming that person or slowly making a switch, it will automatically come. And I think we're so focused on, like, setting a goal or setting something that we want to achieve. Well, what happens when we reach that goal? Then we have a new one, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So if you can make a big goal, like I do a 3, 5, 10. So like in 3 months from now, 5 months from now, 10 months from now. 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
That's good.
And then
That is good.
if you can break down your goals, even like 3 hours from now, 5 hours from now, 10 hours from now,
Yeah.
if you just like make them smaller to like things that you can actually achieve,
Yeah.
so much easier on yourself because you have to give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, thank you so much for
Yes,
coming on.
thank you
you.
so much.
This was so fun. Literally just talking. Yes, clap.
Yay! We love clapping on this show. Everyone
Yes.
knows that.
Yes. Well, that's a wrap for our show today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We look forward to having you back with us next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Be sure to
Yes.
follow our Instagram at chickchatter_rightradio and your Instagram.
Oh, Kylisha Jag.
Perf.
You better do it.
You better.
Right now.
You better do it.
Right now.
And remember, you can keep up with everything going on at DCSA Media Hub.